so much. Um, we welcome everybody. This is the Srila Prabhupada's Sunday Love Feast. You know, this has started since 1966 for the first time. So this is going on for more than 50 years. So many cycles, so many Sundays. So this is a great parampara, and we welcome all of you. Is there anybody here for the first time? That's so nice, no? But we have to get somebody new. This is today is the Bhakti Vinod Thakur's appearance, and you know Bhakti Vinod Thakur he's saying that when you share this holy name with the new people, I personally, bless that, and Lord Gauranga would like to see that even personally. So I have heard that many senior devotees, that's why they long for sharing this Harina with the new people. I will just read the briefly translation. Since you are all devotees, you know it, but Lord Gauranga is calling, wake up, sleeping souls, wake up. Sleeping souls, how long will you sleep in the lap of the beach called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the world of birth and death. I have described just to save you. I have descended just to save you. Other than myself, you have no friend in this world. Sometimes that's hard to believe, right? We think we have so many things, but other than myself, you have no friend in this world. I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you are suffering. Take this Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says that I fall at the Lord's lotus feet, having taken this Mahamantra. So this is the prayer of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. This is a very auspicious day. Any appearance day of any Vaishnava, especially these great stalwarts, they are physically present in their they are always approachable, but this particular day we would like to offer our praise to Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and we can beg him. So let's go to the today's topic. We just so there. This week is the World Holy Name Week. Most of you saw that. This is the Srila Prabhupada in a very. Is this seen over there? No, right?
No,
it's not there, right? Because there is in that. I think this is a very nice. You can see that how Srila Prabhupada is in a very fiery mood. This is the did anybody read it? What he says that Srila Prabhupada's gift to the world. We know how many gifts Srila Prabhupada has given us. If we start writing each up, so many things. But I think the topmost gift is the holy name. His devotees, prasadams, the whole culture, everything, the deity service, everything first class, everything. But on the basis is the Srila Prabhupada's gift to the world. It's the biggest gift actually, is the holy name. Now, when we say holy name, so why holy name? Right? Why holy name? Why not do the yajna? Why not go for fire sacrifice? Why not go for anything? On the other day, there was a Ganesh Puja, and like this social media had somebody was doing the arti, and he was literally burning himself. I don't know what kind of a devotion was that, but thousands of people were there, and they were saying, "Oh, wow, look at this, burning himself, this big flame." And it was quite a show. Why not that? Why just do the holy name? It has not much of the effort. It doesn't cost anything. Why holy name? So I know we don't have much time, but dharma comes directly from the Supreme Lord. Me and you, we can preach it, we can follow it, we can repeat it, but we can do the dharma. This is the Bhagavatam verse. We can chant together. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam naveduru shayonapi deva nasita mukto asya manusya Kruto vidya dharcharanadaya. This is a very august assembly, so you but my question is that can anybody say which part of the Bhagavad senior devotees, more than they should not really try to attempt. And if I say that, then nobody will attempt. So at least those who have taken the initiation should not say that. But that, can you say that which part of the Bhagavatam this verse is? I mean, but like, what is the subject matter? Obviously, 6.3.90. This is the dialogue between Yamaraj and his servants. So he's saying that there are so many people, but the Supreme Lord only can give the religion. Real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planet cannot escalate the real religious principles, nor can the demigods, the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of the asuras and ordinary human beings. It has to come from the Supreme Lord. It cannot come from an ordinary man. It cannot come from a very exalted man. It cannot come from a very, very exalted man. No, it has to come only from the Supreme Lord. Then the next verse, we don't have much time, but then we can read that they have mentioned all the 12 Mahajans, and they are saying that these 12 Mahajans, we know the real religious principle. Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Narada, Shiva, 4 Kumaras, Kapilas, the son of Lord Devavati, not the other Kapila, the Lord Kapila. And Swayambhu Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, Grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami, and I myself know the real religious principle. My dear servants, this transcendental religious principle, which is known as Bhagavad Dharma, or surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him, is uncontaminated by the material modes of vision. It is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand. But if by chance one fortunately understands it, he is immediately liberated, and thus he returns home back to Godhead. So this is we proved our case. That is the somebody can say that how about Lord Brahma? This is again Lord Brahma is saying that in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, after stealing the calves and cowherd boys, he is admitting that there are people who can say, I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. Oh my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulences are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body and words. Now who is Brahma? Who is the creator of this universe, which is 4 billion miles long? The person who lives 311 trillion and 522 billion years, we can just even, looks like complete mythology. We can't really believe this, but we know that this is truth. So then the person who lives such a long life and who is a perfect kind of almost a perfected devotee, he's saying that my dear Lord, so far as your opulences are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body and birth. And that's why we don't take the words from we don't take the words from the anybody else but the Supreme Lord. So and we can quote these words. Who is the Supreme, and where does he gives the instruction of this? Now, so our first question was that I was trying to prove that why Harinam, it has to come from the Supreme Lord Himself. Now, let us say that people ask us in commonly when we try to approach that, where does the Bhagavad Gita says that you chant Hare Krishna mantra? I just showed it, so you can quote that one. But then there are, I think in Bhagavad Gita every chapter is there. But people ask us, which verse would you quote? That you guys chant Hare Krishna mantra, but show me in the Bhagavad Gita. Which verse would we quote it? Satatam Chintayanto Mam. That's the verse that we can quote always. That Krishna is saying that my devotees, this is the other word, that Maharshinam Gurguraham Giramasmi Ekam ekam aksharam yagnanam jap yagnosmi stavaranam himalaya. This is among the chapter 10. Krishna is mentioning all his opulences. So Japa Yagna is the Krishna himself. Yagnanam Japa Yagnosmi. All those other Yagna, you see that it may kind of attract your mind and they look so fancy, but Krishna is saying that, I am the Japa Yagna. So this is the, now tell me, there are a few other verses. Actually there are so many more verses, but help me with that one. How many of you can share it instantly? This is the kind of answer we have to. That's why these shastras, they're meant for us to study and practice and preach it. People say that this verse, I gave you one hint. Tell me if you at least 5 other verses we can remember right now. That Krishna is directly telling us that chant my name. One other verse I mentioned that Satatam Kirtayanto Ma. Yatantascha Dradavita. Namastantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Satatam kirtayantamam. This is the kind of actually the charam one. This is the actually highlighted one. Always chanting my glories, entering with great determinations, going down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. And this is again tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhache. Sarveshu kaleshu satatam kirtayantamam. So anybody can say us, then we can say easily, look at this is Krishna's word. This is not a concocted philosophy. This is not a speculation. This is not a logic. This is not a sentiment. It is Krishna's word. Satatam kirtayanto and tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Sarveshu kaleshu means not just at the sad time when somebody is departing or not at the good time. Sarveshu kaleshu. Mam anusmara yuddha. Now I already said 3 verses. You guys have to help me at least with 2 verses. Tell me which other verse you can say them. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva. When you say smaran muktva, how that chanting, what is the difference between chanting and smaran? How would you say chanting? You might be chanting, but you may not be remembering. Right? Chanting and the remembering has to go together. Sometimes you cannot chant loudly, but your remembrance could go all the time. You do not have to chant outwardly. So actually Smaran is the higher platform. Chanting is a more it could become passive. Smaran is actually active, is an active participation. You are longing about your favorite food, favorite dish, favorite place, favorite person. You can think all the times somebody whom you really love. That's called Smarana. So Krishna is saying that Antakale cha mameva Smaran muktva kalevaram. Prayati samadbhavam nasti atra sanshaya. What is, there are so many manmana mad bhakto. How could you do that without madhyaji mam namaskuru? You can connect, we can see that. So in Bhagavad Gita actually, that's my Bhagavad Gita is nothing but the treatise to the pure devotional service. We look at the every chapter, even starting from chapter 2 very beginning, slightest progress would save you from the biggest danger. What other thing could give you like that? It is nothing but the devotional service, and that is what is recommended. Okay, we mentioned about Bhagavad Gita. Now Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is also full of, right? Kapil Dev is again instructing, Aho Bhatasva Pachato Gariyan Yad Jivagre Vartate Namatupim Te Pustapaste Juhu Sushnor Arya Brahmanujurnam Grantiete. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipping you. And is there anybody here who is born in the family of dog eaters? Like even those families, persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities, fire sacrifice, and achieve all the good manners of the Aryans. to be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have gathered at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas and fulfilled everything required. Tell me even one thing one of us we can do in this thing. How much fortunate we are. Studying the Veda, who knows Sanskrit? Going to all places of pilgrimage, we have a hard time going 1 hour distance. Forget about, I say what going India, forget about. We can travel it. Then, then they have all kinds of hostilities. Our scriptures describe that there are people who can meditate within the fire, inside the water, cannot control their senses. What to speak of? There are examples. What was that Muni name who was practicing under the water? Sobering. See, and this is the advantage. I mean, when you speak among the assemblies of the devotees, so then you are always backed up. Sobering Muni was such a powerful person practicing. Because he thought that this world outside world is so distracted. Let me go under the water. Nobody should disturb me. Nobody can disturb me. And he had such a, yogic power that he could stay there without breathing. Literally, he didn't. When you are under the water, your body cannot support the water breathing, so you can breathe. He was able to hold the breath for thousands of years. And then he saw a male and female fish together. That's it. He said, okay, why not me? And he came outside and he approached the king of that kingdom, Mandana. Long story. And he was such powerful that he could become, even though he looked so ragged and old and whatnot, he could instantly change into the most youthful person. So, but those people also, we have done all those things. That's why we have the good fortune of chanting the holy name. And who is saying that? Who is saying this? Prabhudis and Matadis. Who is saying this? Swayam Bhagwan, Kapil Dev. Is not the words of an ordinary man. Again, we have to have a faith, and we take his words literally true. This is the last sloka of Bhagavatam. Nam Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukha Samanasya Tam Namami Harim Param. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Hari, the congregational chanting of whose holy name destroys all sinful reactions, and the offering of obeisance unto whom relieves all material suffering. Now, when we give a lecture or something, and you see, you are a guru, you are a teacher, you are a father, you are wife, husband, the last instruction you give is how important is it? Actually has everything into it. You have a client, and the last dealing that you do is so important. Patient, doctor, teacher, student. This is the last instruction of Srimad Bhagavatam. The science which was spoken to the king Parikshit because he was about to die. How many verses Bhagavatam has? 18,000 verses. The last one verse, Shukadeva Goswami is saying that, the congregational chanting of whose holy name destroys all sinful reactions. We have to believe this, Maharajas. We have to believe this, the pure state. There is no doubt about it. I just pulled out a few more, but there are every chapter of Bhagavatam is actually describing the glories of the holy name. Every chapter, everywhere. Kaler dosha viderajan asti eko mahagana kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vraje. Actually, Kali is being so many different ways. People say that this is the fallen of the fallen age, but my dear king, although Kali is a question of force, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. So I just made my case very strong here. Why should we chant? And because it is said by the Lord, it is supported in our scriptures, right? Now, chanting can go in the form of holy name, can go in our personal sadhana. It can go into the kirtan and chanting with the new people. That's what the Bhaktivinoda Thakur that gives personal blessings to that. So this is we are all, chanting on our own. that is a part of our regular sadhana. We should all have it every day. Something that works good, you don't do it once a week. Is there anything in this world that works good and you do it once a week? Tell me. I'm interested. By caste I'm Guju. So anything works shortcut, I would like to do that. Please tell me. In this world, anything that works that you do once in a week and it will work. No. No. And Sunday feast, but then you have to have you have to eat the all other 7 days. You can't really. I mean, he's right in that way. Sunday feast comes only on Sunday, so that's why that's why it's good once in a week. But nothing in this world that would you do once that is good. Why would you do it once a week? Why wouldn't you do it every day? Why? That doesn't make sense. Because if you are doing that, then what are you doing there? Can anybody help me? What does it call? If something is really working, you know it, and you don't want to try it, then your time pass. I'm sorry, it's a very honest thing. And that if you are just because you have nothing to do on Sunday, so let's go to the temple. I'm serious. I'm telling that if it is working, why not do it every day? What really stops you from not doing it? So, but that's our own sadhana. I mean, that's it. But when we do the kirtan together, it has we get the positive energy from everybody. So basically it's a prayer that oh Lord, again this service. When 100 people say that, it becomes much more effective. And you actually we all of us we have experienced that time, right? That we could have a rough day or we could have, but when we go to kirtan, everything becomes so kind of secondary, not so important. But then again, when somebody is fixed up in these two things, having his own sadhana regular, he's sure that, and he is doing the kirtan, he should think about that. How could I take it to someone new people? Now, so then people can think that why you guys are so much pushing. They tell us these Hare Krishnas, they are either book or mala karo. Mala nahi karte kya kar rahe ho? If our some senior devotees come, kitni mala karte ho? Kya baat hai? I mean, nothing, no other conversation. How many rounds do you chant? So sometimes people think, even our own family members, I mean, when you live with them and then you say, okay, because it's an everyday dealing, then we have to be careful when you talk to whom we are talking, because they would immediately say that, how much appreciation you have. They can immediately bounce back that, how good you are chanting. Just don't preach to us, you try to improve your practice. So it's very important that we be focused whom we are talking. But first, we should have the appreciation for the holy name. It's not just that ritual. We shouldn't take it as a ritual, our own sadhana, or even telling somebody else also. It would never work. Neither it would create. I mean, still holy name is the holy name. It still stays transcendental. It will take so much more time for you to have any effect on yourself. Forget about anybody else. So then again, why should we distribute the holy name? I'm a neophyte. I can say myself. Why should I? When we joined, Jayadeva Maharaj was here 15-20 years back, and he was having a seminar, and he was telling us that go outside and talk to everybody and do it. As we said, Maharaj, we don't know anything, we don't have any philosophy. But he said, do you have faith in Bhagavan? Do you have faith? Do you have trust in his words? Just be his messenger. Not necessarily that you are always on the elevated platform, but at least be able to execute the orders, be able to follow the instructions. And Krishna is saying that when the Bhagavad Gita is saying, he is recommending that outright go for book distribution. See, Prabhupada he didn't manufacture anything. Can anybody quote? Say, luckily I didn't go to the next line. So can anybody tell that where Krishna recommended in the Bhagavad Gita, go for book distribution and don't stay home for deity worship? Does anybody has any clue? It's open for everybody now. Okay.
Is he dear to me?
Yes, Shyam Gundu Prabhu and Ramachandra Prabhu also saying that, what is he says that Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhaktesh abhidharshati. Bhakti Maim Param Dattva Mame Vashyati Sansaya. Here idam paramam guhyam is saying that this is the most confidential. But here idam paramam guhyam mad bhakti suvidasya. Everybody is my devotee. You don't think, you don't discriminate that, oh, these are not devotees. You should go and try to distribute this knowledge. Bhakti Maim Param Dattva. That person who has definitely get my devotion, Mame Vashyati Sansaya. There is no doubt about it. And actually, Lord Krishna is actually he's taking away, he's passing all the boundaries in the next person. He said, what is it? That nacha kasmat manusheshu bhavita va nacha guhyam anya priyataro bhuvi. There is no other man who would happen more dear to me than those person who is trying to distribute this name. Now remember, Lord Krishna is not asking that how many devotees you made. How many people you made, they started chanting now. He's asking about your input, your involvement. It's not within our reach. Like Lord Chaitanya is dancing and then even the animals would start dancing, or the inanimate object would also have the signs of devotion. That is something a completely different topic. We shouldn't expect that, oh, I'm trying every day but nobody listens to me. Fine. You are guaranteed as long as you are trying it. It's not that how many is it. Srila Prabhupada came to here. Who can have a doubt about him being a pure devotee? But still, then only about 10,000 people took it up seriously, and about 1/10 of them they stick to it. Now, does that make a question about Srila Prabhupada's purity? No. How much? If you look at the percentage wise, is a point. I think 1 out of 1,000 or 1 out of 10,000. Considering the world population of 5 billion now, maybe at that time 3 billion, 4 billion, if 10,000 people took up the devotional service, but it's only, you are simply trying it because you are so powerful. He could preach to so many people, and so many people from so many backgrounds took up the devotional service. But us, we should think that I am doing on the order of my Lord and Master, my spiritual master, the devotees. I don't have any qualification. I don't know. Anybody will listen to me or more than likely I will get humiliated. Tell me, how many of you have faced the humiliation when you went for the book distribution? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is only 5 people went for book distribution. It's practically impossible for you not to face the humiliation if you go out for a book distribution. 9 out of the 10 people wouldn't look at it. They say, come on, we have so much important things to do. Why are you doing this? Who are you? We don't care about you. We are trying our best, but we do it for somebody whom we love. Smaranam, we are doing for because he is saying that you try. It just simply your try matters to me so much. And you are not the doer, it won't happen. But because you desire it, I will make it fulfill. I will make it happen. So that is the mood, and that's why we should try it. This is like, it's not that because it's called bandwidth. It's not like that bandwagon. It's not like because I am doing it, everybody should do it. It's called bandwagon trend, because everybody has to be the same color, or when you have a same age of the brother, sister, you all get the same kind of clothes. I think it was happening in India so many times that everybody has the same, then they can easily identify, oh, you guys are brothers or sisters. We are not trying to preach, people that because we do it's so good and you do it. No, we are doing it by the instruction of the Lord. We know that I am talking about myself. I have no ability to convey to anybody, to preach to anybody. But I am doing it simply because my spiritual master wants it. People whom I know it, they want it. They really insist me. They have given me everything to do this. Everything means, can you imagine who is the most dear to Lord Krishna? This is something, for an ordinary person to say like this won't matter to anything. But like Krishna here, he's saying that, I have nobody else more dear than people who really try to do this. So this is our meditation. That I'm humbly doing it, and when Usually, when you are sincere, the other person appreciates it. In our history of, like, if you look at the devotees, the sometimes the biggest, the distributors, biggest book distributors, they are the least scholarly people. You know, there are so many examples. Some people, because at the time of Srila Prabhupada, there are so many people come with the drug addicts and then nerves are destroyed and they get destroyed and they hardly able to think anything. And there was one such person, Pig Pen. If you ever have heard that story, I mean, that people wouldn't touch him, people wouldn't look at him because he was always in the garbage. He looked for the food in the garbage. He would never ever people. But then once, I mean, he saw that Prabhupada is passing and he approaches and they says, "Come on, why you are coming here?" You know, they're like, "What is this? What is this?" I mean, all of a sudden everybody started, "What did we do?" I mean, why this person is approaching Srila Prabhupada? But then he offered the obeisances and she said, "Hey, Prabhupada looked at very mercifully, glancefully, but he wasn't able to reciprocate." But then somehow he came to the temple, people, devotees clean him, shave him, they started eating prasadam. He was so drugged up, he could hardly say few sentences. And this is one of the senior devotee is mentioning that he would be always ready to distribute the book. People say, why you are coming? You will take one spot. Why do you come? But then he wants to come and he goes with them and he says that, okay, let him come. But then he distributes the maximum book. You know what was his mantra? He says, take this book. Srila Prabhupada saved me. Only 2 sentences he could speak, you know. And then people can think that somebody like him can be saved. Why not me? You know, let me try. This person not able to stand, not able to speak well. What is this? What is this? Let me try. There's something over here. You know. So that's the and I mean this is the that's our the top the so we made the case that why should we do that? What should the mood? That also I think we discussed that. We should be at most humble. Otherwise, Krishna will make us feel humble, you know. If we go in that mood, today I'm gonna go and preach somebody, I'm gonna show my knowledge or I know how good I'm doing and these dumb fools, rascals, whatnot, then Krishna would make you humble. Believe me, this is the 100%, I mean the 100% secure formula. Krishna wants the best thing for his devotee. And he says that he knows that as long as we are not humble, we can chant. Why? Because if I am the master, why would I serve you? Why would I serve anybody? If I feel like that, you know, I am the person around to be the center over here. Why would I desire to serve anybody? The moment I think that, you know, I'm not doing anything, how can I serve you? That moment we become, our chanting becomes so effective. So Krishna, we made that case also, that what should be our mood? How to distribute? Now that's an art, you know. This is the art. This is the most logical process, but it can be made most annoying also. If you do not know, and if you do in a wrong mood, you can drive over the people. People start hating you. People will change the road when you're coming there. So it has to be. You have to be very patient. You have to see that where it works and where it won't work. You know, Krishna is the most attractive. Why cannot we make it so attractive? You know, he is the most attractive. You know, and again, for all these things to come, it is important that we practice sincerely. I think I covered most of that. What is the secret of sincere practice? You know, what is the secret of sincere practice? What is the secret of our sincere practice? Humility. The humility is the most important. Now again, sharing with the family, friends, and relatives. That's another thing. Many of us, like we start chanting, but our family members, they are not chanting or they don't have interest. You know, some of us, we have older generation. Like, you know, in our Gujarati language, there is a phrase, "Pakha lade, kantha jade nahi." You know, when you are throughout our life we get conditioned. The conditioning goes throughout life, but as we get older, that conditioning becomes stronger and stronger. That means we don't want to change it. I know it. It's called I know it syndrome. I know it syndrome. You know, in the medical profession, after surgery, you can check your doctor. He said, I know it. You know, okay, your problem is such. I mean, so that is a I know syndrome. So after 30s and 40s, so difficult. But how would you communicate to them? Because they are the people closest to you. Even though we think, oh, everybody is, but then you are still attached to them. You're still worried about them. How would you communicate to them? You know, do not go and criticize them directly. Do not go there. Find out something good what they can do there. Try to somehow connect them what you are doing there. Make sure that as if you are their dependent. They think, okay, this fool doesn't know, or this he really needs my help. Because once you make someone do some service, it's a Krishna's obligation. Now you are out of now you have done your part. You somehow did this connection, and now it goes to Lord. Lord Krishna he personally makes sure that person makes the progress in the path. What is that verse? That Yesham, Vajatam Pritipurvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogakam Yena Mam Priyanti. We constantly pray that Krishna will guide us that. But once somebody you engage in the service, Krishna will make somehow life favorable for you. If it is the things are happen to in a good direction, it will happen in a good direction for him, and he would get the positive reinforcement. Sometimes it could be negative reinforcement also. What is a negative reinforcement? Because somebody is doing some nonsense, you show them a stick and they will stop it. That's called negative reinforcement. Something happens good, you are doing something, coincidentally something happens good, and now you want to do that more. That's called positive reinforcement. I did this, now I get a good mark, I should do it every time, I'll get the good mark. But sometimes that you did a nonsense, you fell down, you got hurt, now you will not do the speeding. It's kind of or the police give you a ticket, now that's a negative reinforcement. You are not worried about your own health, but you are worried about at least that I will have to pay some fines. So somehow when you talk to the family and friends, be very sensible. You have to live with them every day. You can't be their judge. And everybody comes with their own destiny. Sometimes your own child, sometimes your own parent, your own spouse. Everybody comes with their own destiny. They have their own baggage. You can't remove it. You are not so powerful. Accept your inability. Don't otherwise you spoil it. You will lose all chances. Forget it. So we can talk more about this one. When you want to talk to friends and family, make sure they watch you every day. You go in temple like this, you don't know what time I woke up or what time I chant my round. It's easy to repeat this, but my family members can see that if this is a really practice or not. I can't open my mouth because they can immediately shut me up. So make sure your sadhana is so sincere. What you say, you are not chanting with your cell phone and WhatsApp and messages and emails are going on, and you are not doing that. You are not doing 10 times what is happening. Immediately it would be effective at all. Okay, I think let's go. We have only about 5 minutes. Sharing with the unknown, and sharing at the workplace. Workplace is also an art. You always, be very subtle. Like unknown in workplace, like I would say, whether you always give them a Krishna conscious gift, give them prasad, because if something you do, they will look at you, who we are. Oh, look at these Indians. Look at these Hindus. Hindus, we can say in India, it's by caste or look at doctors or nurses or whatnot. You are from a class now. Remember, right now you are representing the biggest legacy. You are Hare Krishnas. If you do something, just go and ask for forgiveness. I'm sorry, I did. That was I was in so much hurry or whatnot. But your behavior should be above everything else. That would preach itself. Someday they would ask you that, doctor, what's going on? Tell me about yourself or whatnot. So I think about that. Now, whatever we each one of us, we have some unique ability. That's how we can please Krishna. We have to remember that. We have to that unique ability. We have to nurture that. We have to find out that. And we have to have. So maybe whatever work we are doing, that through all these things, we have to constantly think that now. But by doing this, we are constantly doing the remembrance. You're doing your work. You're doing your daily work. You're going to your job. You're going to jail. You're going to a doctor, hospital, whatnot. You're going to a classroom or whatnot. but your mind is thinking that, how should I pass this along? People are, don't forget, they're always very fixed up. They think they know it better than you. They think you are fool. They think you are wasting your time and money. What are you doing? They think that you don't know to live, how to live, how to enjoy the life. Your meditation is that how can I pass the message of me? Select a book which is complete, non-confrontational. If you give Bhagavad Gita, it's very confront. You can give a book about diet, book about the sleep, book about the karma, book about some story, something like that. It's a kind of it's a very very non-challenging, and people could read that. And so I think that one other way is that, in my practice I use the healthcare as a, like, that's why people like I try Ayurveda, yoga, all those things. So people would, if they get benefit, then they want to know. But still I can preach it. But then after some time, some people they change their diet. It's a very slow process. Diet is a no-brainer. No, it definitely helps you. Most people, if they become vegetarian kind of a diet, their health would be automatically better. So that's, I'm just giving an example. This time we are bringing a tour called Discover India Tour.